law, legal. There's just so many different ins, outs. You could just finesse anything.
They're called clauses and motions.
I'm going to go with ins and outs and finesse.
Okay. All right.
Harvey Weinstein is an animal. At some point in time, there is going to be a fictional character created for children, and it will be drawn to look like Harvey Weinstein without the backstory, but it's just going to look like Harvey, and he's going to be the antagonist. He's going to be the villain because he is truly an animal. Okay. Everything that happens to him negative in life, he deserves. Why is it possible his charges could now potentially be thrown out?
Well, I think it was on Wednesday. They were in trial, appeals court, appellate court, and the judge stated that a lot of the evidence that was given by the prosecution didn't actually have anything to do with the convictions of Harvey Weinstein. They were more just to show that his character was bad. Like they had a lot of testimony from women who just said that he did bad things to them. It wasn't sexual, never sexually abused or anything, but just might have fired them, might have said something, might have done something wrong, whatever. But it was never criminal. And they said a lot of evidence was allowed to be presented during the trial along those lines. The judge is saying because that evidence didn't have anything to do with the actual crimes themselves, they shouldn't have been allowed to been placed forth because they could have been misleading to the jury. So as such, it's currently under discussion now whether or not the charges should be overturned because it was an unfair trial.
Look, if you're a thief, you stole my car, right? So now we're in court. Whatever. Just say we're in court. You stole my car. And in addition to being a thief, you are a violent person. You beat up a couple of people. And they're trying to say, hey, this is a bad guy. You know what I mean? Him stealing a car is not that far out of the realm because your side is probably going to be like, hey, maybe it was circumstance, needed the money, it was a whatever. But no, my side, he's a bad guy. He attacks people, all, A through Z.
Right.
The fact still remains you stole my car. Why is it so harmful for me to share, let's say it was a jury trial, with the jury that you're a bad guy? Despite the circumstances that may have led you to steal my car, you're a bad guy. What is the harm in that?
Devil's advocate. Let me give you a case that a similar situation. So George Floyd, we didn't know much about him. They tried to push, and we came to find out that he was using counterfeit money. And for some reason, that was something that they wanted to put up in trial as something that they wanted to bring up. When they brought it up, a lot of people said, why the hell are you bringing this up? That has nothing to do with the trial, blah, 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 blah. The judge is saying, Harvey Weinstein's case, all these other women that testified that weren't actually sexually assaulted or anything, they're the counterfeit $20 bill.
Right.
So if you felt that way about the George Floyd, you got to look at this Harvey Weinstein thing along those lines as well. I know it's hard to do because of who Harvey Weinstein is. Once again, we are being misled because we know what his character is. But when you look from a legal aspect of it, unfortunately, it's hard not to argue that
I understand what you're saying.
Prosecution might have fucked it up.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. If you would have just stuck to the facts of the case, then okay.
You had enough evidence as is.
You're throwing in other stuff.
Right.
Right. And that can sway, could be like, oh wow, this guy really is an animal. Ooh, right. I don't even like him. I don't care if he did that. He's just a bad guy. I understand that. But it has been unequivocally, we weren't there. There's no tape. But as far as legal, it's been proven. This happened. I mean, and I guess that's the whole point of, appealing, right?
Right. Because did he get convicted? But did he get? It's not about whether or not it happened. Did he get convicted because of the crimes he committed, or did he get convicted because of character assassination? It's
So
two
you see,
different things.
so you see this, and this is the crazy part of it, is I think this is BS. Because I think once it's done, it's done. But then on the flip side, if that's how it works, then you wouldn't have had, the people that, the brothers that we were talking about that got exonerated like 70 years late. Like you wouldn't have stuff like that happening.
Right. The
So,
Groveland 4.
you know what I mean? So you got to kind of take it on both sides or not at all. But if this gets thrown out, if the monster known as Harvey Weinstein, who actually eats women, he devours their souls, destroyer of worlds, if he gets to walk, there's something wrong with
it would be wild, but it would be under legal grounds. This is
yeah,
the legal system.
it's not unfathomable. It's
This is the legal
clearly,
system.
yes.
Like when you have famous actresses coming out speaking out about Harvey Weinstein and things that they've experienced with him, and he still has a chance to get out and walk. Well, roll his way out because he can't really walk too much. That's God's work, by the way. That to me is the craziest thing.
Well, what are your thoughts here, viewing public? I want to see how the entertainment industry responds. I want to see how these actresses respond and actors. I want to see how vocal you guys get. I mean, it's not like
they stayed quiet for how many years?
But I mean, it's not like he's a part of the company anymore. Like, how vocal are you really going to be?
No, that doesn't listen. You don't forget the industry that we're talking about. Just because Harvey Weinstein is in the situation that he is, it doesn't mean that he doesn't still have the right people as friends. They're just behind the scenes now.
All I can say is Harvey Weinstein. He even looks. You shouldn't judge a book by the cover, but he even just looks like a bad guy.
Yeah, he's the real life Penguin.
Yeah,
like from Batman. That's
like when you look at him. If he was holding the door open for me, I wouldn't walk through that door. I'd be like, "There's something sinister going on here. I don't trust this door holding."
That's so bad. That's horrible. Because I've had some horrible people open some doors for me. I'm just trying to get inside.
All right. Well, how do you think I feel when I walk into an elevator and you get one of these where they clutch the purse? How do you think I feel?
I don't care about any of that anymore. You get used to that. You move on. I'm just trying to get to whatever floor I'm trying to get onto.
Anyways, being public, leave in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And that hasn't happened to me in a long time, by the way. But let's talk about porn.